Hi everyone, welcome to my channel. My name is Nayeli. I normally post skincare and beauty videos here on YouTube, but I have been having this video idea. I thought that right now would be a good time to talk about this since a lot of people are graduating or they're finishing a term in school, might still go back next year. You know, some of you guys might be freshmen, sophomores, juniors in high school, getting a little bit closer to your senior years. And so some of y'all might be thinking about what you are going to do after you finish high school. So I just want to help you guys out in kind of making that decision, and I want to share with you guys information that wasn't shared with me whenever I was graduating. I'm actually well past that part of my life. I finished high school back in 2013. Yeah, I am 26 years old right now. Pretty old compared to all of y'all 18, 17 and under. But I figured, you know, I'm still young enough and a lot of this stuff is still fresh in my mind, and there are a lot of things that I wish I knew, and so I want to relay this information to you guys so that you are fully aware of a lot of the options that you have. You might think that you only have two options, which is basically going to college or not going to college. I think that our educational system really wants to bury college into our minds and into our heads, and if you don't go to college, it's like you can't sit with us. You are not as good as the people who go to college because you don't care, because that's just not the route that you wanted to take in life, because you're lazy or whatever the reason may be. And first of all, I think that that is a very messed up way of thinking. I don't think that college is the only way, the only thing that you can do in life and still be successful. There are people who go to college who go through not only their bachelor's but master's and doctorate, and might not have the best paying job in the world, or that struggle to get a job after college. And then there are other people that might have their own businesses and make probably more than the PhD person. You know, not everybody, but just there are some cases where you can compare how much money one person is making versus the other, and they had a completely different path after they graduated high school. So to all of you guys that are thinking about something other than college, I am here for you. I support you in your decisions. I will be your cheerleader, and I just want you to do something that is going to make you feel happy or at least comfortable with what you're going to be doing for the rest of your life. I don't think I should say for the rest of your life, because another point that I'm going to touch on here is that you don't have to stay chained to one path of life. If you decide that you want to go to college and study one specific major, you don't have to work in that field forever. Or if you got a job at McDonald's right after college, then you don't have to work in McDonald's your whole entire life. Like, you have enough time in your life, I think. And that's another thing I think that is ingrained in our minds, is that this idea of time is running out, or there is a sequence to how you are supposed to do things. First you graduate, and then you get a job, and then you get married, and then you have kids, and then like you get a house at some point, and it's like, no. no. You know, it works for some people, but it doesn't work for everybody. Just because these things are ingrained into so many people in society's minds doesn't mean that that's the right way. So for those of you guys who are a little bit stressed or worried, confused, not really knowing what the next steps are after you graduate from high school, let me offer just a few options here and there. Again, this isn't a comprehensive list of things to look at. This is just to kind of spark some ideas, bring in some new points of views and ideas that you may not have thought of before. Also, this is an advice to seek out more information. Now that we have the internet, you can find out so many things, but also use your resources in terms of who you have in school. If you are not a senior yet, if you are a junior and under and thinking about what you're going to want to do later on in life, use the counselors that you have, use the teachers that you are comfortable with speaking to, and ask them what they recommend. based on what they see in you as a student, what would be a good kind of job or field to be in. Even if they give you advice on something that you have to go to college for, don't think that that's the only thing that you can do in order to live out that career path. So I think one of the biggest things, or the thing that I want to be the biggest proponent of for this video, is trade schools. Trade schools, vocational schools, technical schools, whatever you want to call them, they have different names, and I'm sure, you know, compared from the United States to Canada to the UK to China, Japan, they're going to have different names. But I can assure you that there are certification programs all over the world that you don't have to study in for 4 years like you would with a traditional college or university, and instead do an accelerated program. Some of these programs are honestly as short as like 3 to 6 months, and they can go up to about 2 years. So these are programs where you not only go through actual coursework and have to take a few classes here and there, but you also get hands-on training. And I'll mention some of the fields, some career paths that you can take within this umbrella of technical / vocational / trade school. Some of these are paramedics. Another is an electrician, a dental hygienist. One of the really cool things about trade schools is that you can actually go into a medical field without having to go through medical school or nursing school or pharmacy school. Like, you can actually take accelerated courseworks and programs in order to still be working in that field, which is very fulfilling. You help improve so many people's way of life. Obviously, that is an incredibly fulfilling path, but it's not for everybody. And I think that if you're a person who doesn't want to go to school for 4 plus 8, 10 years, these are really amazing alternatives. As I said, paramedic, dental hygienists, medical assistants, radiology technicians, like sonogram technicians, really just any of those kinds of technicians who work with machines. Honestly, all of these jobs make pretty good money too. These schools, you can also learn how to be like a plumber, an electrician, which electricians actually make a lot of money. HVAC technicians, so basically the people that help with heating and cooling in homes, or not just homes, they also help, you know, and basically any kind of building that needs to have a regulation of airflow. Mechanics, so that you not only have the hands-on training, but all of the book knowledge, and they can also help you out in learning the new technology, things that cars didn't have back then, like all these types of sensors, computerized technology now, because there are a lot of touch screens and all these really cool details within the newer cars. And then obviously the crowd favorite for lots of us, which is cosmetology. And I just think that this is such a cool option. I've always looked up to people who do cosmetology because you can just tell that these people are enjoying their career path. You can work for some sort of a salon. You can go pretty simple with it, or you can work at a more bougier salon where you can get paid more cash. Or you can even open your own business. I actually know of a girl who opened up her own business and she's doing really well. I'm so proud of her, and I'm so proud of the men and women who start their own businesses after learning how to work in these fields. Like, not only are they working in the field that they love, but they can actually manage themselves and maybe even manage other people. So how to know if any of these schools are near to you, or schools that have your specific career goal in mind? You can obviously look online, but again, using your resources, both teachers and counselors can give you some great insights about all the kinds of schools. Also, through community college, you can access these career paths and these programs. Definitely be using these two resources a lot. And whenever you are going on to these websites, these school websites, always make sure that they have an ending of .edu or .gov, because you don't necessarily want to go to places that have an ending of .com or .net. That's just a quick way to kind of know whether an institution is real or not. And then again, looking for accredited programs, like looking for those specific words of accredited, will help you find a school that is legitimate. And if money is an issue, just like for college, for all these kinds of technical vocational schools, they also do offer financial aid through FAFSA. So if you're lacking in money, you can actually, whenever you're going through the FAFSA application, when you type in the schools that you are applying financial aid for, you can type in the name of your school, your trade school, vocational school, and they will likely pop up because they are also schools that are backed up by financial aid and that you can receive financial help for. So don't think because they're not college, you're not going to receive financial aid. And in addition, a lot of these programs do have scholarships offered towards them. And there are also outside scholarships for your state or for those types of schools that are specific to them that you definitely have access to. So say for example, if you have trouble getting financial aid, then you can also try to research scholarship opportunities and availabilities. Another thing too that's really important is knowing that there are a lot of businesses, local businesses and companies that want to help students financially in order for them to succeed their career goals. So again, whenever you're going through this whole process of applying for scholarships, talk to your advisors, your counselors, or research online for local businesses who offer scholarships for not only college but also for trade schools, because they will offer scholarships for either or. So don't think that because you're going to go through the non-traditional path of college that you're not going to be able to find scholarship or financial aid type of opportunities, because they are just as available as they are for college. Specifically for Texas, because I am from Texas, I will offer you guys a couple of links and names of specific scholarships if you guys are interested. And community college on its own is also a really great option for those of you who are maybe interested in pursuing higher education, or for those of you who are kind of unsure what you want to do, or if you know that you want to go to college and you just want to save up some money and get your basics done for a fraction of the price of what you would be paying if you went to college and took those courses there, then community college is a great alternative for you. I actually went through a community college prior to going to college, and I actually did it in the summer while I was taking my regular terms in college when I was in university. What I did prior to community college and junior and senior year, I took what are called dual credit courses. And dual credit courses, if you haven't heard of them yet, are amazing. Like, they truly are free classes that you can take that will give you credits for college for so many of your basics, so that you don't have to spend that money whenever you go to your actual college. Now, the only caveat to this is that if you are planning on going somewhere out of state for your traditional college, then dual credit might not be the best option for you, because dual credit courses normally only transfer for colleges that are within your state, or at least that's the way that it worked for me in Texas. So if you're in Texas, then that's the way it's going to work for you too. And then even then, some courses are kind of hit or miss. All my courses, I made sure were transferable to the college that I was gonna go to. So prior to taking those courses, I made sure and I did my homework to make sure that those specific courses transferred over as part of my basics curriculum for my college and university. However, my boyfriend, which honestly, I don't know if he did his homework, but he told me that he had trouble getting some of his classes transferred. So, moral of the story is put in the work, ask the questions again, talk to your counselors, try to look up these courses before you take them to make sure that they are going to be accepted by the university that you're going to. And again, this mostly will be only allowable if you are going to go to a university within the state that you are going to high school right now. Because again, that is also going to save you so much money for whenever you go on to college. Like for me, I went to, even though it was still within my state, it was a public university, but it was expensive. I went to UT Austin, and I actually went in going in with enough credits of a sophomore. So I essentially had so many of my basics covered to where if I already knew what major I was going to go for, then I wouldn't have wasted any time, and I could have finished within 2 years in college and not spent that much money. But because I didn't know what I wanted to do, I spent more time soul searching, and I graduated in 3.5 years. But still, you know, still cut a semester out of my costs, so that was good. And for those of you wanting to go to college outside of your state, then I would recommend taking AP courses, just in case for those of you who are a little bit younger or haven't heard of AP courses, definitely take those. Those are essentially just a regular course that you take throughout the year, and at the end of the year or at the end of the semester, you take a test based off of that course, and if you pass the course with a good enough grade, then you are able to get the credit of that class that you would normally be taking in college, so that way you don't have to pay for it later on, and you basically just have the credit. And the way that AP tests are graded are from a scale of 1 to 5, being 1 and 2 are too low and you don't pass, but any number 3 or above, you pass and you get the credit. Make sure that you're paying attention if you are taking those classes, because they will help you out in the long run. And for a lot of people, you do have to pay to take the exam. I'm not sure if to pay to get the course, but I think that you do end up having to pay for the exam. But because I lived in a school that was poor, we basically got all of our AP exams paid for. Like, you didn't have to pay for absolutely anything, so everything was free. So if these courses are offered to you for free, just go ahead and take them, because they're gonna count for both your high school, and if you pass the test, they can potentially help you for college. So just a nugget of information if you guys didn't already know about AP courses and dual credit and the difference between them. Also, the great thing about dual credit courses is that you don't have to take a huge exam afterwards. It's just like your regular class. It's literally just like a regular class. You do take some quizzes and exams here and there, but that's just like every other class, and it's gonna depend on the professor or the teacher that is teaching the course. So yeah. Okay, so we've covered college, community college, and trade schools, which I haven't really covered college, but I think most of you already know what college entails. Well, that's not the biggest focus of this video. If you're gonna go to college, you're kind of set on your decision. You're probably not gonna change it unless you really are on the fence. Then by all means, continue to listen. And I think that some of the next things that I'm going to cover here, you can actually do while you are in college or while you are taking the courses in your technical or trade school. So I think one of the easiest to get into is doing freelance work. And freelance work is what a lot of people are going through right now due to the state of the world and health. So many of traditional jobs have changed into remote style of jobs, working from home, doing things in a more freelance way. So that is definitely something that I recommend, either in tandem, or you can just do this on your own and see how you like it. If you end up finding a field that you are into and you find that making money through it and how much money you make through it is enough for you, then that literally can be your whole career. So the interesting thing about doing freelance jobs is that you can do things that you're either good at or you don't necessarily need experience. And the way to find jobs where you don't require experience is by literally going into a job search engine such as Glassdoor or Indeed and making your search a little bit more structured to where you are only searching for a job with no experience, and then you put the starting wage. Obviously you don't want to put such a high wage if you don't have experience in something, but you can kind of mess around with that specific feature. And also either you can type in remote jobs under your search. There might be an option to find remote jobs, especially right now with everything that's going on, and then you're gonna find thousands and thousands of jobs. The best thing is that you don't really have to narrow it down to your own city, because since you're doing this remotely, people don't really care about where you are living at the moment as long as you can get the job done. But for example, if you do have some skills under your belt, then you can actually go into websites that are a little bit more tailored, like Upwork and Fiverr. I specifically really like Upwork. I've tried to toggle through Fiverr and I haven't been super successful, but I have actually been able to find some gigs through Upwork. So that's probably the one that I recommend the most. But Upwork is a really great way to find jobs if you already have a certain skill set, because say you might do photography here and there, you're learning to do photography, you learn from somebody, or you're just very passionate about it and you've already started to take pictures. Well, you can kind of create your own little portfolio, or you can even show these pictures on your profile, or you can make a little website which is very easy to create on websites like Wix, or I forgot the name, but I'll put other names on here as well. And you can literally just put in some of your work, whether it's writing, whether it's photography, whether it's graphic design, whatever kind of thing that you already have a little bit of experience with is going to be helpful to show other people what you can do. And whenever you're applying for certain types of jobs or gigs, then you have something to prove your experience with. As you continue to get more clients and more jobs, then you can keep adding those pieces of work into your profile or your website or your portfolio, what have you. So I actually did a lot of freelance work whenever I was still in college. I studied advertising, which I don't really do much of anymore, but I am kind of interested in going back to it again just for freelance. And I would have my own portfolio. I had some pieces of work that I did in school, and then in addition, whatever I would do for certain clients. So yeah, freelancing is a really great way to basically have your own career. What's really cool about this is that too, you don't have to necessarily meet up with people. You don't have to be on calls. Some of the times you might, just depending on what type of projects that you're into, or especially if you start looking into getting clients who are more of like agencies or like an actual business that wants to speak to you and kind of give you the rundown on whatever type of job you're trying to do for them. But for the most part, especially if you're doing little projects through Upwork, then really the only way that you communicate is through email. So this really facilitates you if you kind of want to travel, or if you want to go spend time with your family. Obviously, as the world starts to get a little bit normal, then there will be more freedom for us to travel and do things. But I think that freelancing is a super great way to turn your career into whatever you want. And the next type of career path I want to touch up on is starting your own business, being an entrepreneur. Now, this is probably one of the coolest things that you can do, because you can be your own boss, you can sell your own things, and it doesn't even have to be a physical thing. You can literally sell whatever you want. I know that right now with TikTok being so popular, there are people who start their own businesses who build things with their hands, who sew, who make little stickers and stamps, and they even make designs and they sell their designs. But you can even have like an actual brick and mortar where you sell furniture, you sell tools. The options are endless. Whatever you are interested in and in possibly making a profit out of it, you can find a way to sell it or like even repurpose it. You can buy properties and fix them up and then sell them, but this does require a lot more money to buy the properties at the beginning. This is actually something that I'm super duper interested in trying out in the future, but I need to save up a little more money because I don't know if I'm totally comfortable with starting to take out loans just like that. If you know how to make really great food, or if you are interested in going through some sort of culinary program, then you can open up your own restaurant, your own business that way. You can even own a franchise, like owning a little piece of Wendy's, owning a little piece of Sonic, or whatever fast food chains have franchises. For franchises, there is definitely a lot of things that go into it, but you are kind of essentially owning a piece of a greater company. And the very interesting thing is, like, you don't need to go to college to be a business owner. It does help to learn about accounting, finance, investing. All of that financial know-how is very, very important, but it's not impossible to do without going to college for it. You can look up even courses online where they can be free or at a very reduced rate compared to having to go to school for it. And another thing that I kind of want to touch up on slightly, but not too much, is investing. There are a lot of different things that you can do, again, through finance. There are stocks, there are bonds, there are mutual funds, there is investment. Alrighty guys, so that about wraps this video. I hope that you guys learned a few things. I just wanted to give you guys my insight on things that I wish that I knew prior to deciding my whole career path and kind of making some mistakes here and there. You know, mistakes happen and that's okay. Know that you have time. Don't try to rush things. Also try to kind of find yourself, learn a little bit more about yourself, and don't be too hard on yourself as well. And congratulations to all the graduates. I'm so proud of you and I can't wait to see what y'all do later on in the future. And I'll see y'all in the next one. Bye.